so I think we have some very interesting questions. The first one I have is, how do you manage or handle situations where the other person, that's how I understood it, says where the other person has heard, understood, it feels respected, blah, 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 and still does not want to do what you want them to do. Okay. And I find that question to be very interesting because you only know what you said. You never know what the other person heard. Okay. And this is a very important mindset to create in communication so that you can continuously take the responsibility to improve the communication to a point that you are really heard. Okay, so I will not be able to determine that you have heard me. You will be able to confirm to me that you have heard me by, one, stating so, two, maybe repeating what I've said to really align with that thinking, three, doing what I had requested. Then I can really believe. So I think we need to be mindful of that, because sometimes just because we have said something, we say we have communicated it and he heard me and he's just not doing it. And we're not trying to judge who is right or wrong here. We're just inviting you into the space to say, can you take that responsibility to say, okay, maybe the person is not feeling heard yet. Maybe the person is not feeling respected yet. Maybe, so there's a powerful space also to use your yet to say, okay, so then how do I do it differently? Okay, so you go back to try. The fun part about it is that it always creates opportunities for you to keep trying. And the more you try on anything, understand, the more you try, the better you get at it. Okay, so
I fell through it. I fell through your question. Like, okay, why don't I give up on this guy?
Yeah, that he just doesn't want to do.
He just doesn't want to do the work.
Yeah.
And maybe I will link it with Ambrosio's question to say, I'm not actually interested in this guy, whether he will leave the job or because he's not doing anything. Yeah? The first step is to answer that question of, is this relationship important to me?
Okay.
Me and the guy. Is it important to me? He is on my team. If he's performing optimally, do I gain or lose? Okay? So maybe it's important to me. And even if you go to the other side of it is not important to me, you could only be judging at that point that is not important at that time. Because you never know when he will immediately become important to you. There's a saying, I mean, something we do with, in terms of developing rapport. They say, you develop the rapport before you need the relationship, not when you need it. Because we will know. We will know what you want to do. So at the time that you are feeling that the relationship is not important, that is actually the time you want to invest in the person, because if actually he decides to disengage, at any point in time that you need him, he comes in with this full energy and inspiration. You have to judge, okay, genuinely from your heart. Sometimes it's a case of, I've tried too much, I'm just tired of this guy. It's a clean acknowledgement, which is fine. Just now what you are learning is that, say, I have not managed to crack this guy yet.
Okay.
How do I? So the point is, the guy is important to my team. I think if I crack him, things will really turn around. I have not succeeded yet. And it's a learning process for you. This can happen or go on for how long, I don't know. And it's your heart to decide that this relationship is cool or not. What I want to discourage you from is to write people off because of the limited knowledge you know for now.
Okay.
Because things change all the time. things change all the time. So maybe that's my little submission in the lazy employee.
Yeah, and I was actually linking it to the question around grit to say, so when do you
Give up.
Yeah. So that's practically the
Yeah.
question. So grit, and then so
And
when
then-
do you give up?
So when
you know?
do I stop?
And I think it's an interesting one because there's one way to look at it, being attached to just the outcome, to say I am gritting because this guy has to change his behavior.
Yeah.
Okay, so when he changes his behavior, then it means I'm great at gritting. Okay, so I can be celebrated. Okay, and there's another way of looking at it from the growth mindset perspective, to say, actually, what is happening is giving me repeated opportunities to practice this and to look at other varied ways of tackling the same issue. Okay, so this last one also did not work.
Yeah.
How do I do it differently next time? So then you become less attached to the outcome and you engage on the process because it's becoming an enjoyable learning process for you.
Yeah.
When you're too focused on the outcome to say, I am gritting, I'm gritting now, so that he will stop behaving like that, then sometimes it becomes tough.
Yeah.
So the more you get into the role play scenario to say, okay, it's another opportunity to practice this thing.
Yeah.
Let me see Hurab again. Let me Hurab him from the other corner to see how it goes. You know, so you get to then experience different responses
Exactly.
to different situations, and I think that
So
makes
for
it
us,
interesting.
it sounds very easy the way, like you're saying, these guys, are they sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it has, we have seen it demonstrated
Yeah.
in institutions and organizations that we've worked with. I mean, they start off like this, are you sure? Say, okay, just take one case. Just take one bad case you think you have. And just go and practice it and come back and tell us.
Yeah.
Because we all have a certain mindset based on how we are raised and experiences we have had. So we make conclusions when we see situations, we make conclusions. We have not explored what we don't know. Okay? So you can really believe that. Now, I've tried everything. As far as you are concerned, it is everything, and truly it is not everything.
I actually like it, and I'd love to link it to the other question to say, what business do I have who having an uncle who wants me to drink and I don't want to drink? Okay, and it's a good question.
Example, yeah.
And we could look at it the other way to say, yeah, why not use it as an opportunity to actually hurrah him? It would be nice to really hear him, to understand, respect his perspectives, where he's coming from, at least accept him as a human being and he remains my uncle. And this conversation, if we are able to have it, and I really listen to him to understand him, I'm sure he's likely to feel valued and probably appreciate why I also choose to do it differently. Okay, so again, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You can choose to say, I avoid him because I don't have any business who are having people who want to lead me astray. That's one way. And the other is, it's a learning opportunity. Let me hurrah him. In fact, I will understand where he's coming from. And through this, I think we'll gain mutual respect. He'll leave really valuing me and our relationship. And I think it'll make it easier for him to understand why I choose not to drink.
Yeah.
To the point of eliminating, whether the goal for us should be to eliminate or to minimize.
No, but
I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. What I know is that when I'm making a point and you say no, 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 or in the middle you say but, or you say yes, however, when you do that to me, I know that I don't feel good. Okay, I know that. And so whether at the time you were doing it to me, you were only minimizing or eliminating, I do not know. I only know that you cut what I was saying, whether no, however, or but, and I didn't feel good. Because we are imperfect and we are on a learning journey, I prefer, for me, to say that I am trying hard not to use those words because I don't want to unhurave anyone. And in that trying, even if I slip, it would have only meant that I have reduced the number of times I use those words.
Yeah.
I will become consciously aware of it, of my slip, and I will correct myself consciously and openly and continue because I prefer to keep the other person hurraved. You know, that's how I look at it. Yeah.
In other words, you are making reference more to your why of doing it.
Yeah.
And you know, when you ask your why, there are several options of what for you. There are several options of the what you would choose when the why is very strong. So my why is, I really want people to be inspired when I'm talking to them. When I was talking to this lady, for example, and then the way I was doing my hand, I could see from her body language. So talking to her, I'm not using my left hand or something. And then I have to talk to another person that using my left hand doesn't seem to really. So I'm using two processes for the same why of having the people. So I think most of the time when we answer the why questions, the options in how and what we would do open up for us.
Okay.
There's a question on
the limitations
of
the model,
for example. Yeah. This is a model about human beings. Man, human beings are like the most
complex and complicated, creatures.
Yeah. So we're not promising a perfect result all the time. What we can assure you is your perseverance on its use makes you more or less master. So you know what to do when. Yeah. And when it fails, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. It means it has failed in this situation. And how else do I deploy it in another situation?
Yeah.
Okay. So limitations, you can find limitations there.
And that said, I think the other beautiful thing about these models, tied to everything we've been discussing so far, is the fact that it allows us opportunity to actually practice the growth mindset. Yeah. Okay, so today that is what we have. Okay, tomorrow if it's not working in certain circumstances, we would say maybe we don't have a solution for that yet. And then we're very open based on new knowledge or based on new experiences we have to say, let's tweak the model to make it more effective. Okay. So we will not try to suggest that it is watertight and it works in every situation. We just know that it's a good guidance to help how we engage to get results. And we'll continue to learn, and at any given opportunity, if we have the chance to improve it, why not? We'll fully engage on that to improve it.
Like we've come to know the 9 planets as we knew them, and now what they are telling us.
Me, I'm confused. So the things that I used to write in my geography test, and I used to get correct. Now the kids are saying, hey, don't say that. Okay.
So I think it's not a summary, it's the major part in there is a learning mindset that we want to throw out there. Not at any point that you will say, I know everything, that I know all. When you attempt something and it fails, it's a feedback to you that you can learn more, that you can know more, that you can do more. Yeah. This is it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a question on feedback. I don't know if you addressed that one.
Okay. Yes. The feedback that you cannot work on. I think that was a very interesting one as well. So it says someone is giving you feedback and you know you cannot work on that feedback. It was a question coming from Constance. So how do you deal with it? And I mean, I think for both that one and the question around, okay, you're encouraging me to drink, I don't want to drink. There's that powerful difference between making statements and asking questions. Okay, so I would ask a question, okay, why can't I work on this feedback? and maybe I have my real reason why, okay? And it doesn't sit well with me. Again, to make this person feel heard, understood, respected, accepted, and valued, I can engage them and say, yeah, please help me understand why you're recommending for me to do it this way. Okay, because you're giving me feedback to do something in a particular way. Okay, so I would love to understand more or deeply why you recommend for me to do it this way. Can you help me understand? And that's a conversation. And just keeping quiet and listening to you helps me what? Learn and grow in wisdom. Okay? And then I can begin, if you're open-minded, oftentimes you begin to appreciate certain perspectives that you had not considered. Okay? And it may get you to understand why they are recommending something to you, or even if you do not understand or agree with it fully to say, I accept and will change, at least the fact that I understand where you're coming from and I respect your views makes it easier for me also to share with you that, and in line with my own value systems, it might be a difficult thing for me to do. So can we agree to disagree? In a very respectful way. Just taking the time to listen, to understand, and to accept your perspectives from, that's where you're coming from. I believe for most people will make them feel valued enough. And once the people are valued, they're feeling valued, they're likely to also value where you are coming from. That's how it is. When you walk into the corridor now and you meet someone who is being very abusive, okay, it is likely that at a point you'll also start getting abusive. And when you meet someone who begins to engage you in a way that makes you feel very valued, even if you don't engage actively immediately, oftentimes you come back and you want to check, by the way, so where are you also coming from? What's your name? It's just human nature. You know, we tend to reciprocate and reflect what others are throwing at us.
So we strongly just inviting you into the learning mindset.
Get in there and try it.
The last component in growth mindset is what is your perspective when you have a feedback? Do you see it as criticizing me, or okay, could there be an opportunity to learn something here? Let me understand. Why do you say so? Okay, that's how I come across, really. I didn't know. And that is the truth. You really don't know what people see you to be. You really don't know what people hear when you speak. And so when they give you feedback, it's like a mirror. Like, guy, this is how you appear in public. This is how you appear. And say, okay, I've never looked at it from that perspective. How differently will you suggest, or what is your proposal? So you see that your yellow shirt, I see that you like it. But Charlie, when you wear it, the whole room, everybody, but you never knew. You say, I like yellow. Why? I like yellow if they don't like it. Do you intend to influence them? If that is part of your objective, then you must be concerned that they are feeling a certain way, and therefore you want to adapt.
Now, like that example, it sounds simplistic and funny that that your yellow shirt, boys don't like it at all. I mean, it's my yellow shirt. And there's one part of, so I take the feedback and I stop wearing it. And there's even a higher level of being able to be vulnerable enough to go back to the guys to say, guys, I got to learn that you really didn't like this, my yellow shirt. And sorry for abusing you with it. And I'll try not to be wearing it.
I only wear it in the night when I'm alone.
Yes, in bed. So the two things, in both cases, you stopped wearing the shirt. And one of them came with some form of engagement. And in that engagement, there was something we call vulnerability. And there's this mindset we have about leadership to say that you have to be powerful, you don't have to be seen as weak or crying or soft around people. That won't make you a powerful or strong leader. So you don't do certain things. So if they say don't wear yellow shirt again, and they actually see that you have stopped wearing because of them, means you are weak. Or even if you choose not to wear it, you don't have to let them know that you stop wearing because of them. We hear stuff like that. And just put yourself in the shoes of the people who gave the feedback and to compare these two leaders. One who never got back to you, and you may have realized that he stopped or did not stop wearing it. Let's say he stopped. And the other one who stopped and actually engaged you to say, okay, I got the feedback and that's why I've stopped. And not only that, to say, okay, thanks for letting me know.
Yep.
Which of these two
Feel
people
more.
would you like to relate more with?
Definitely.
The one who engaged.
The one who engaged.
Because I'll feel who have.
Yeah.
And he heard me too.
Yeah, and he heard you too.
He actually
And he could actually also engage and
Came to
say,
me, yeah.
I got to hear that you people were saying bad things about my yellow shirt.
Yeah.
Are we here to work or look at other people? Okay. It's also an engagement, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Guys, what I expect is that when you come here, focus and do your work. By the way, a lot of your work is behind schedule, and what you have
about that.
to engage your mind on is other people's shirt color.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's also
Yeah.
an engagement. And in this engagement, I'm making you know who's the boss here,
Yeah.
okay? And that you don't have any chance about
Yeah.
talking about my shirt again. Okay. There was engagement and probably
Yeah.
not likely to make the other person feel
Yeah.
hoorah. It doesn't feel. Am I right or I don't
Yeah.
know? You tell me.
And
You
it
said
could be
not
very
likely.
interesting.
Not likely.
It's possible they might not come back again.
Yeah. This is it. So you lose the people.
Yeah.
And every time you need them, you have to ring a bell
Yeah.
before they come. I'm stretching it in the space of truly, I have only one shirt, and that is yellow.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the shirt I have, and the people say, okay, I hear the people don't like it. And another option is to engage the people the same manner. Say, guys, I really like the fact that you made me know that really this my color, this color of my shirt really doesn't seem to appeal much. That I want to share my story with you, just so you appreciate.
Why?
So you tell your story about how all your house got burnt 3 days ago, and you are trying to organize yourself. And so, for the time being, you may be seeing me in this yellow. How do you think the people will feel?
Still head.
feel heard, yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
valid.
still feel hurt.
Yeah. So
And there's
what
that
we're trying to
powerful vulnerability in it
Vulnerability.
still.
Yes.
To say, let me share the truth with you. And
Yeah. Sometimes leadership, when you go that way, you get into the people so much that now they will be suggesting
Come back to-
stuff to the direction you want them to go. Because most of the time, when we don't know other people's stories, like I said in the morning, we will tell our own story. We will tell our story. Our mind cannot be there. So the leadership, the proactive leadership is step into the space, share the story as it is.
Okay.
They will appreciate it more.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we shared during the break that apart from facts, you need an emotional component
Yeah.
to get people
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that
Fits
way
in there.
it
Yeah.
fits in.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Good.
We're good.
Any more questions
That's-
or
that's
feedback?
Yeah.
Earlier on, we were talking about it is not you getting them accepted. It is not you getting them hoorah. It is them feeling hoorah. So there is not a particular thing I would do to get them feel hoorah. So I come into this new environment. Whatever it is that makes them hoorah is what I will attune myself to. It's not like, okay, when I was in the other company, when you want to hoorah somebody, you give him toffee. So I've come here, I want to hoorah you too. This is toffee. Toffee does not hoorah these people in this company. So it's up to me to find out what makes them feel wrapped in this company. So if it's a cultural issue, maybe in this culture, women are supposed to sit in front. Where I'm coming from, women are supposed to sit at the back. To wrap them, I'll go with what wraps them based on what they feel wrapped about.
I have an interesting story just to speak to that point. So many years ago, 20 or so years ago, we were out on an international conference. So many people from many different countries. And it was evening after dinner, you know, people have drinks. Some from other cultures who like to smoke shisha. So we were having a good time, fun. Then we got one gentleman from one of the Arab states telling us about life at home, family, etc. So he was sharing the story of how his home has 4 floors and he lives on the 4th floor. And from the ground floor belongs to the first wife, so he has 4 wives, and he is in the penthouse, and he talks about how the family relates, etc. So he was sharing his stories, okay, with all good intent. And there was another lady from Denmark. So apparently, she hearing the stories of 4 women being wives in the same house, etc., was getting her really worked up. Okay. So, out of the blues, she actually jumps onto the table, big dining table, there was an oak table out there, pulls up her dress, says, if you don't stop talking, I'll kick your mouth. I'll kick your mouth. That is very abusive. You abuse women like that, and then you have the country to come and sit here and talk about it. So she was so worked up. It took the other Arab ladies then, the Lebanese, etc., to go say, okay, no, don't worry. We like it like that. You know, and for me, it was a very insightful eye-opener to say, okay, so our contexts are different, and maybe if we can slow down a little bit to appreciate where the other people are coming from, it wouldn't be. She was really incensed, and she called it abuse, you know, and ready to get violent on that. Say, I'll kick your mouth. And the people involved actually were feeling hurrah. So they are listening to the story and say, oh, what a wonderful man. Okay. And then another person is interpreting it as, no. So at the end of the day, it's about how the people feel more than what your intentions are. And your focus should be to make them feel hurrah.
So we just align with whatever policies are in the organization to say that the policy says we cannot do this, we cannot do that, we cannot do that. The point again is to use your powerful question to say, knowing that we cannot do this and that I really want to hurrah these people, how can I hurrah them and still stay within the policy?
And thank you for that information on leadership, from down to the leadership mindset to whoever we are meeting as followers, and also talking about the yin yang. It's been a wonderful experience. We've heard from you, you've heard from us, we've received from you. Hopefully we can practice it, because I think that's the essence of it, to see the action. I hope I'm already practicing it. So thank you so much. I don't know if my co-host has something to say.
All I would say is yet, because we still have room for more.
We still have room for more. So thank you so much.